Alright guys, welcome back to another video. I wanted to do something special today for you guys. I'm gonna be covering, I'm gonna try to do my little review coverings on Berserk Deluxe Edition. So far I got like 8 of these and I still got a ways to go, so I already know what's gonna be happening so far. But I haven't, like, what volume I'm up to, like 20, 23, 24, I'm somewhere around there. Like I said, I got a lot of ways to go, but hopefully, when I cover each volume that you guys will enjoy it. I know I will, and let's get started. So, in these little well, they're not little, these are massive books, but in these ultimate editions, in these deluxe editions of Berserk, they have like these little summaries and stuff like that. And let me just read this to you guys. Have you got the guts? Kentaro Miura's Berserk has outraged, horrified, and delighted manga and anime fanatics since 1989, creating an international legion of hardcore devotees and inspiring a plethora of TV series, feature films, and video games. And now the badass champion of adult fantasy manga is presented in an oversized 7x10 deluxe hardcover edition. Nearly 700 pages amassing the first 3 Berserk volumes, with following volumes to come to serve up the entire series in handsome bookshelf collections. No guts, no glory. And of course, this is by Dark Horse Manga, and usually I like Dark Horse comics, and usually there's stuff like that. I usually do. I know that I got a couple of Witcher stuff by them, and I can't remember what the last one is, but usually they're pretty good. But all right, let's get into it. And this thing is leather. So I gotta be real careful. But you guys, as it says, over 700 pages. This is a big book, and I got this on Amazon, so I think if I remember, I'll put the link to the Amazon on Amazon where to buy it and all that, so just to make it easier for you guys. Here are the contents. Contents are from volume 1. It starts at page 5, but volume 2 doesn't start until page 227. And what I'm thinking I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna cover each chapter in the volumes. So I'll stop at a chapter, then do another video on another chapter, and so forth. So that's what I'm thinking, because right now my setup is pretty janky. My storage is not that great, so I'm working with what I got, guys. Black Swordsman, the brand, and the Guardians of Desire, chapter 1. Those are the chapters in this volume. And what better way to start off, well, I don't want to say better way, but what a way to start off the manga by showing a sex scene where our main protagonist, named Guts, is, I mean, he's banging this woman, but it's not really a woman. It turns out to turn into this monster, this demon. And this is what kicks off the chapter of the Black Swordsman. And the art is just amazing, man. Seriously, wow. And just looking back at this art and seeing how like it evolves and throughout the later volumes, especially Golden Age arc, which is, that's everyone's favorite arc. That is wow. It really shows you, and this is like made in 1989, maybe even a year before that, with knowing how long this stuff takes usually. So he's begging this demon chick, and she says to him, "You fell into my trap, fool." But our man Guts is like, "No, the only one who trapped is you, bitch." So he puts his cannon arm into her mouth and just blasts her away, basically giving her a stuffing of his own, basically. And so after that's taken care of, he just goes on and walks away. And I've heard that Miura said if he could change like the intro of the first volume, that he would. That's what I've heard. I could be wrong, could be misremembering that, but we'll continue on. And so he goes on to this village. It's not quite kingdom. It's I think it's a fiefdom, a fiefdom, however you pronounce it. And you know, you see the everyday people walking by, and he's walking on, and then something catches his eye, where it's a prison cart full of women and children. And so he makes his way into this tavern, and we see these guys throwing knives at this elf that's tied up, obviously, and the big guy's saying, "Stop squirming around, how am I supposed to hit you?" And the people in the background, the patrons are like, you know, I feel bad for the elf, but we can't lay a hand on them because they're from Coca Castle. And Guts comes in, gives the guy a tab, I guess, or whatever the hell it's called, and he's telling him, like, I'm gonna mess up your shop a bit. So he takes up this arrow, this automatic crossbow, this automatic crossbow, while, you know, see, I'm getting ahead of myself. But the elf is just, you know, struggling, just moving around. And the guy's like, you know, I'm gonna make you choke on those words, what you said to me. Basically, the elf was like, you know, like, bring it on, you fat head. And before that can happen, Guts shoots an arrow right into the man's head and pins him to a nearby wall. Everyone is shocked and startled and on, and because they're not sure where that's coming from. And like, before they can even get into attack mode, Guts starts firing again, and you know, he's aiming with precise, like, just his precision is just, his marksmanship, whatever you want to call it, is like top tier, man. It's top tier. He's hitting everyone he's on, and it's so good that, you know, the last guy is standing right here. I don't know if you guys can see that. And he's reloading. He's so precise that he shoots the guy right in the nose. And that's a, you know, that's pretty much a, I guess it's a small target, but that, I mean, that's right through there, right through the nose. He makes his way over to the guy, grabs him by the arrow, shoves his face down to a table and asking, like, you know, you're one of the guys from Coca Castle, aren't you? And the guy confirms, and he's like, you know, deliver the message to your boss that the Black Swordsman has come. And the guy's like, the Black Swordsman? And before anything can happen, the elf is like, behind you. And here we see this massive sword being pulled out with just one hand, single-handedly. And we just get this visceral arc that's also badass. And he just swings it in one stroke, and it slices the guy in half. So now we know how strong this guy is, wielding such a massive sword and just slicing, you know, a guy in half like there's nothing. Everyone in the tavern is shocked and wide-eyed, and even the elf is. And this is one of my favorite quotes in this volume. It was much too big to be called a sword. Massive, thick, heavy, and far too rough. Indeed, it was like a heap of raw iron. And that's one of the best ways to describe this sword. This sword, yeah, it's not even, you can't even really call it a sword. It's exactly what it is. It's a heap of raw iron. And later on, we will come to know what the heap of raw iron's name is. It has such significance to it, but, you know, Guts is like, I'm counting on you to, you know, deliver the message for me. And Puck over here, and I said his name. I'm getting ahead of myself, but yes, the elf's name is Puck. And Puck over here is like just, you know, trying to get out of this little trap, and he does, and he's flying over to Guts, and he's like, hey, you know, you're not supposed to leave someone that you just helped like tied up still and everything, and he's just suspecting the raw heap of iron, and he's like, man, that looks, you know, like, what should I call it? Should I call it a slab, or, you know, what is it? And then, you know, Guts keeps on going by, not ignoring the guy, and Puck is like, oh yeah, my name, you know, I'm Puck, nice to meet you. And he just tells him his background, like that he was in a trope of traveling performers, but they were attacked by bandits, and ever since then that's how he got into the situation where he was initially. But he also tells him that, you know, the town was also attacked a number of times, but the Lord Mayor made a deal with the thugs. In exchange for tribute, they promised that they'd leave the town free and there'd be no more raids. Until Guts showed up and killed multiple of them. So, you know, this is gonna bring in a predicament for this whole town, this village. And when Puck tries to land on Guts' shoulder, this brings out a kind of sort of a interesting reaction from Guts, because this is the first time we see Guts kind of like act, I don't want to say standoffish, but he, you know, he does not like to be touched. He says, don't touch me, I'll squash you. And, you know, Puck is throwing a fit like, what's wrong with you? You know, you try to, you know, after showing you a little concern, why would you do that? But before anything can progress, in comes these knights who serve the Lord Mayor. And Puck just flees, and Guts later on is taken to the dungeon, torture chamber, and he's being tortured and being whipped and everything. Again, this art is amazing, man. And just seeing how this character evolves, though, it kind of like, he still has that youngish look, but I promise, if we get through like different volumes, especially a certain part, you kind of like think to yourself, I'm kind of thinking like, man, I think it's set just right after what happened, but we're not going to get far into it. If you know, you know. And so the torturer is saying, you're a stubborn bastard, you know that? Ain't you even gonna make a little noise? And Gus's reaction is basically spitting blood on the guy. He's like, bastard. And before he can whip him some more, in comes the Lord Mayor. And now the Lord Mayor, you know, it says to him, like, you know, like, stockpile of weapons, it belongs to this man. And the torturer confirms that, yeah, it's enough weaponry to start his own war. Which, understandably so, when you start to see what he's going against. And the Lord Mayor starts going on this little, you can see him getting paranoid. He's visibly shaking. He's like a complete stranger to these parts. You've done a terrible thing. Do you have any idea what you've done? Because you murdered those men, this town may very well be destroyed. But Gus is like, you know, are those guards just standing there just like scared, you know, just to be scarecrows and all that, and trying to provoke them? But he's like, yeah, I don't care. But he's listening on as the Lord Mayor says, you have no idea how horrible he is, the ruler of those men. And here we get a glimpse of the big baddie of the first and second chapter, I believe. But anyway, he says that thing is beyond human. It's something horrible and incomprehensible. A creature from the very depths of the pit. No one can kill him, at least not anyone human. And that's when Gus says, you know, that's why you probably made that dirty deal with him then. And this is, of course, referring to the prison wagon. As Guts says, I know all about it. How he's a monster that eats human flesh. I know it very well. And I know that you continue to provide him with his meals. I pass him at the gates of the city, a prison wagon full of women and children. And the Lord Mayor says, I am the mayor. It is my duty to protect this town. And Guts calls bullshit, basically saying you're not really protecting the town, you're protecting yourself. So this hits the man. This strikes the man so far deep into his heart or soul, whatever, that the mayor just has like a little heart attack, and he falls into the ground. And Guts has this grin, like he knows. And the mayor's like, just torture him. I might as well go to Coca Castle myself. Just tell the Baron that hey, this was completely done by an outsider, and I will hand him over to you for you to deal with. So he goes to Coca Castle, and this is where we kind of get our, not really first look, but without the armor on, we get his first look of him. And you see the guy with the messed up nose now, and he's telling him about hey, he's the Black Swordsman, he's here, and he's interested. And then comes the Lord Mayor, and he's like, he starts to give him the rundown, like, hey man, got this newcomer, this outsider, he doesn't know our customs, and I'm prepared to give you double amount of gold and people. But then this is where the Baron says, you look troubled. Unlike before, you're now worried about losing your own life, aren't you, Mayor? Then he flicks something off the fork, and the Lord Mayor catches it, only to be revealed that it's an ear. And he drops it and let's go. And he, he's skittering back a bit, and the Baron says, gold, prisoners, I don't care about such things. All I wish to see are humans within a fiery apocalypse trying to escape. All I wish to hear is the sound of snapping bones crushed under the hooves of horses. I don't even need an excuse. None at all. And he has that malicious grin, that smile, and you could tell this guy is just evil. And this is where the Baron's men captures the Lord Mayor, and he's saying, let me go, and he's telling my lord, and meanwhile time skips, and meanwhile we go to Guts, who is in the dungeon, paralyzed. Not really paralyzed, but he can't move because of how much the damage he's been dealt with. And he sees this fetus thing, and he's like, you again. And it starts crawling to him, and crawling, and before that thing can get any closer, and comes a certain elf dropping in with keys, and he starts trying to help Guts, start telling him, because he has in his words, to repay a debt, we elves have a strong sense of duty. And and so he goes to touch him again, and this is where Guts again says, don't touch me, don't you ever touch me. Again, that's going to play a big factor with what's to come later on. And he's just wondering, and Puck's wondering, what the hell is wrong with you? But he does this magic where he's using his wings, and all this dust, this dust is coming off of him. And this is what Puck informs him about. We elves got all sorts of powers. We can heal wounds, we can sense people's emotions, we can even make people happy. So Guts noticed that his body, he's feeling lighter, he can actually move. And that's when Puck notices something on the back of Guts' neck. Guts sits up and he says, it's the brand. And Puck, not knowing what it is, he's like, the brand, what's that? What's it mean? And he's getting excited. And all Guts says to him is like, pretty soon he'll come here to kill me. You'll find out soon enough. And Puck kind of starts putting it one and one together. And he's like, does that mean it's those guys from Coca Castle? You mean you're planning to drag the townspeople into all this? And this is where we get to the philosophy of the Black Swordsman, where basically he gives a whole spiel that, you know, if you're too weak to protect yourself and you find yourself in these circumstances that you have to fight for your life and you die, well, that's your own damn fault. It's not my fault or anyone else's fault. It's just your fault that you're so weak and pitiful. And Puck can feel all this stuff. Like, it's like he's trying to figure out, like, is it rage? And he's like, no, it's not just that. It's rage, sadness, and fear. And it's like, there's something even deeper than that. And Puck mentions that, you know, in that case, what about when you save me? And Gus just laughs and basically calls him like an idiot and a bug, and like, you think you're really important enough for me to save? I mean, I'm sorry. Yeah. Sorry, I'm getting tongue-tied. But he laughs, and Puck just, you know, reacts by just hitting him under his jaw, and you know, like, you see tears, and he flies away, and he just like leaves Gus by his lonesome. And this is what starts happening when the town goes up in flames, because, you know, the Baron is here, and you bring in his men again. Art, I love the helms too, especially this one over here. That helm's like awesome. But the art is just, man, you see the chaos and the mayhem. You see, oh yeah, and also there's the Lord, not the Lord Mayor, but the Baron, you know, just chilling with a child on top of his war axe, just drinking the blood of the child while, you know, laughing and just having a great time murdering people. And the Baron says, you know, burn everything to the ground. All his men are doing that, and then suddenly they see guts come out of this pile of corpses using guerrilla tactics on them. And he shoots his automatic crossbow, and, you know, with precision, he strikes everyone in like the most vital places ever. And he's just, I gotta give it to him, man. The man has a good marksmanship. And he's shooting them, and then here's this guy charging up to him behind with a horse. And of course, just like how many pages ago earlier, he does the same move, takes out that heap of iron and just slashes downwards, cutting both the man and the horse in half. Again, this is Berserk, and Gus is one strong MFer. And so here we are with the confrontation gonna happen with the Baron and Guts. And he's like, so you're the Black Swordsman, the one who's been hunting us apostles. And this is the first time we've heard the word apostles. And they get into it. They start fighting, and, you know, the apostle gets hit in the face and with the arrows. And, you know, his men are like, you know, my lord. They didn't see him get up. And, you know, if it was human, you know, they'd be dead, or they wouldn't be able to get up in the first place. But this is an apostle. You're dealing with some freaking demons, man, literally. And so Guts, you know, keeps on the attack, and once he goes into this building, that's when he sees it. This tail just flings him out, and you see the Baron come out like this, and he's a snake, man. He's a snake demon. And he's like, I'm going to eat you. I'm going to eat you alive, boy. And everyone's freaking out. Continues on. Gus is taking so much punishment that, you know, the Baron, the snake, the apostle says, like, you know, a regular human would die from this. Gus is human, but he's a strong MFer. And he's taking it, and he's going blow by blow, and then this is where he blows the guy's face off of his cannon arm. And he just cuts him in half. So, you know, he takes down the apostle, and the apostle's begging, and he's telling him, and Gus tells him, like, you know, like you said, humans are weak, but no matter how weak we are, even if we are being chopped up to bits or stabbed to death, we still want to live. And that's true. And meanwhile, while he's doing this, the Baron sees the brand, and Gus is like torturing the guy by shooting arrows into him and, you know, leaving him to burn and everything. And he just is trying to figure out, like, where's the God Hand? Can you tell me where the location of the God Hand? And the guy's like, I don't know, you know, we apostles don't know that information like that. And so he's like, you know, Gus is like, whatever, you know, savor the, you know, being burnt to death. And he walks away. And this is where we understand that the feeling that Puck is feeling from Guts is that it's Berserk. So that's the end of the chapter. And so let me know what you guys think, and see ya.